Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. It is February 18th. Certainly pleased to have everybody here. We'll start our meeting by introducing you to your City Council.
Council members Aguilar.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Entenmann. Erpenbach. Here. Jameson.
Here.
Karski.
Here.
Rolfing.
Here.
Staggers.
Present.
Thank you very much. We are very blessed to have Pastor Randall Gehring from Our Savior's Lutheran Church here in Sioux Falls. Pastor, welcome. Great to have you here. We start our meetings with a prayer, with a blessing, with an invocation, and Pastor Randall will lead us in that prayer. We'd ask you to stand, and then after the pastor is done, we'll then have our Pledge of Allegiance. Again, Pastor, blessed to have you here.
I begin tonight with a reading from Psalm 46, verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. I am exalted among the nations. I am exalted in the earth. Tonight you left behind the pulse of your singular lives, traveling over the branching streets to come together to this, the hall of the city, the chamber of this council, to do the people's business. May all that is holy guide you in your work this night. Tonight you carry with you not only the interests and needs of the constituents you are honored to represent, but you shoulder your own burdens, your own uncertainties, your own disappointments. May all that is holy help you bear all that you bring with you into these chambers this night. Tonight, by your very presence here, you commit once again to the very best of your created nature, to being as compassionate, as fair, and as humble as you can be. May all that is holy inspire you to give your best selves to this night and to the sacred work you share, the sacred work of representing all who call Sioux Falls home, the sacred work of putting aside singular interests in service to the common good, the sacred work of inhabiting this time of meeting with the courage and the dignity it demands. May all that is holy be with you in this sacred work, and may all that is holy be with the people you serve. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Liz, come on forward. Welcome. You bet. We've got Liz Donahue here tonight, and I do have a proclamation that I would like to read. The proclamation reads, whereas in South Dakota, patients, families, medical professionals, researchers, educators, social workers, and others will join in the observance of Rare Disease Day. Whereas, as defined by the Rare Disease Act of 2002, a rare disease is a disease affecting less than 200,000 people in the United States. With approximately 7,000 diagnosed rare diseases, it is not that uncommon to have a rare disease. Whereas, many rare diseases are serious and even life-threatening, and most rare diseases have no treatment. Whereas, about half of the people affected by rare diseases in the United States are children. Since these are genetic disorders, they will remain with these individuals for their entire life, and siblings may be born with the same condition. Whereas, people with rare diseases face many challenges: lack of information, difficulty obtaining timely and accurate diagnosis, limited options for treatment, difficulty in finding physicians and treatment centers, expensive treatments, reimbursement issues with private insurance, Medicare and Medicaid, and a sense of isolation and hopelessness. Whereas rare disorders affect the entire family of a patient. Caregivers endure ongoing stress and isolation while managing the medical and financial issues that arise. Whereas millions of people around the world will observe Rare Disease Day on February 28, 2014, to raise awareness of these diseases and the special challenges encountered by those affected. Now, therefore, I, Mike Huther, Mayor of the City of Sioux Falls, do hereby proclaim February 28, 2014 as Rare Disease Day in Sioux Falls. Liz, thank you again for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Well, Council will now continue with our consent agenda. Council, any changes or motions?
Move to approve, Karski.
Second, Erpenbach.
Councilor Karski has made a motion to approve our consent agenda, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. Councilor Staggers?
Yes, I'd like to pull two items from the consent calendar. The one is for award bid for Washington Pavilion / North Gift Shop, $85,400. And the second one is Lions Park Improvement Agreement for Engineering Services, $20,077.
Councilor Staggers, thank you. We'll go right ahead and do that. Are there any other motions or changes? Very good. If we can then vote on the remaining items, I appreciate that.
Council members Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Thank you. That has passed 7-0. Now move to our regular agenda. Council, any changes?
Move to approve. Second.
Councilor Jameson's made a motion to approve our agenda tonight, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Thank you. That has passed 7-0. Welcome. This is an opportunity for you to engage the council on any topic that you want. All we'd ask is that you just come forward, state your name, and if you could keep your comments to 5 minutes or less, the council would appreciate that. Again, welcome. Would anybody want to engage the council? Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Bruce Daniels, and I'm a resident of Sioux Falls. On Thursday, February 6th, our new group, Citizens for Integrity, started a petition drive in the city of Sioux Falls. There seems to be a bit of official confusion as to why we citizens of Sioux Falls are beginning this petition. In response to the submission, an Argus Leader article quoted a city official's Jeffersonian response to it. In light of the response, another Jefferson quote from the year 1787 comes to mind. I hold it, at a little rebellion now and then is a good thing, and is necessary in the political world as storms in the physical. This political season in Sioux Falls, we have 4 ballot issues to discuss among the voting citizens. We, the people, do not need referees or appointed city educators to frame the discussion and tell us what to think. We, the people, are registered adult voters with the ability to discern the truth. The Constitution of the state of South Dakota requires the city to step back from any advocacy positions for or against, or any electoral participation except for the unbiased process necessary to accept petitions, print ballots, and announce results. Once the issue is before the voter, no additional government participation is allowed. We have already seen what city officials have done to limit the Snowgate process. Also, we have city officials clearing schedules to advocate for a pool option not on the spring 2014 ballot. And there are rumblings of a biased education for shaped places and zoning issues. It seems the city has stepped over the gray line of education into advocacy, and the Supreme Court has clearly ruled advocacy with the use of tax dollars is unconstitutional. Once again, we voters should not be educated by biased city officials using their official city offices and budgets to campaign or educate against the very citizens who pay their salaries. South Dakota has a long tradition of citizen participation in the initiative and referendum movement. As a person who has participated several times in the collection of signatures, people sign petitions because they feel it is time to help elected officials move issues forward to resolution. At the 1885 Statehood Constitutional Convention held in Sioux Falls, Attorney W.H. Lyon formally suggested to fellow delegates the referendum to address all appropriation bills for new permanent improvements to existing institutions and all laws of general interest to the people. We can conclude that W.H. Lyon saw the need for people's direct oversight of government. Also from our Secretary of State's website, South Dakota has the distinction of being the first state in the Union to provide for a popular initiative and referendum for enacting and rejecting legislation. This was accomplished by constitutional amendment approved in 1898. These two forms of direct legislation, first used in 1908, rest in the theory. Since the legislature may not always adequately represent them, the people should be able to pass laws they desire and nullify laws they oppose. It is for these reasons we citizens of Sioux Falls are preparing to present another ballot measure, with the goal of closing loopholes in current city code which are apparently not in compliance with South Dakota state law. The sentiments of our group, Citizens for Integrity, were effectively summarized in just two strong words published recently in Jonathan Ellis's Argus Leader coverage. Where election issue advocacy by government is concerned, South Dakota law declares city officials should butt out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Danson. Appreciate that. Folks, is there anybody else who wanted to engage the council on any topic? Well, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate that. We'll now move on to item number 15.
Councilor Stagger's item?
Yes, thank you so much. Councilor Staggers did have, thank you, Councilor. Yes. Councilor Staggers had two items that he wanted to review. One involved the award bid for Washington Pavilion, the North Gift Shop. If we could go to that one first, we'd appreciate that. Councilor Staggers, do you have some questions, sir?
Yeah, so I was wondering if Larry could say something more about this gift shop, where the money's coming from, if there's going to have to be another employee, will it make money?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I'm Larry Toll, one of the co-presidents of the Washington Pavilion. The gift shop, North Gift Shop, really serves a couple purposes, Councilor. It will provide an opportunity for us to be able to market more materials, hopefully not in competition, items not in competition with anyone in town. But it's also an opportunity to give people an opportunity to find the Visual Arts Center. The pavilion was originally designed, we've had this conversation before about the escalators. I think it's very much like the event center. The event center, if I understand the design there, is to bring people in off the street, get them up to the second level, and then get them to their seats, either going down or up from those locations. That was the original design of the pavilion, and it would have helped to be able to get people to the Visual Arts Center. The center design does not lend itself well. I've been countless nights there trying to help people find the Visual Arts Center, and I was standing outside the door a couple times and they still wanted to go down the hall in other ways. This will give a presence to the entrance. It will also give us an opportunity to be able to market more. Obviously, you've had conversation about the roof on the Cinedome and what's happening there. We're going to be pulling projects out of the pavilion's budget for 2014 to be able to fund that roof replacement. This one we obviously looked at, and we think this is a very important project, and that's why it is still in the budget.
But $85,400, that's a little bit of money. You could have some just card tables, or you can just make some signs to show where the Visual Arts Center is.
We have
$85,400 is it's a little chunk of money.
It will display art in the area, and I don't know if you've seen the design at all, but it will display art in the area as well as get people in easier, as well as give us an opportunity to sell other art. This has been on the budget. In the process, it's been vetted before you over the last year, I know, and I would urge you to support it. I think it's a critical part of what we need to do.
Do you think we'll make any money?
We do, in some of our Dr. Seuss, we sold probably $15,000 worth of materials. At a 50%, that's $7,500. Every time we have some kind of a show, we have a lot of materials associated with that show. With Toulouse-Lautrec right now, we have a variety of posters and other things that we sell, and we're getting a good draw, and those are selling. Paying for itself is, over what period of time? I believe it will.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Very good, Council. We'll go to the second item, or did you want to vote on this one?
Vote on it.
You want to vote? Okay.
Move to approve, Urbanbach.
Second, Aguilar.
Councilor Urbanbach's made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Aguilar. We've had some good discussion. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
No.
Urbanbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
That is passed 5-2. Now going to move to the second item called Lions Park Improvement Agreement for Engineering Services, $20,077. Councilor Staggers?
Yes. Dave, we have this. You can maybe tell us, first of all, how old the park is. It's been around for a long time. It's a very mature park. And now we want to have some outside engineers come in and refurbish it or whatever the case might be. Can you say some more about that?
Sure. I can't speak to the exact age, though. I can't pull that one off the top of my head. But what we're doing is we feel real good about the balance we've been able to achieve between meeting the needs of new growth areas with new parks. The other part of that balance is to take care of what we have, and we believe that Lions Park is in need of an upgrade. Actually, there's been a concept plan that was done in 2013. There's been 3 public meetings with the All Saints neighborhood. And the park has been designed now by Stockwell. And what this $20,000 does is provide the construction administration for Stockwell to be able to oversee the construction and make sure that we get good value for the project.
I guess the main thing I'm concerned about is that we're spending, $20,077 in the context of the city budget. That's not very much. But in the context of, budgets that people have, that's a lot of money. And I think a lot of people, including myself, are asking the question, we have all of these people in the Parks Department, in the Public Works Department, who have so much expertise. And what would it take for them to take a look at the park and re-engineer the park without having somebody from the outside coming in and spending $20,000 when we could just do it in-house?
Well, actually, we don't really have the expertise of engineering in our department. We have one person, and he's more of oversees the entire CIP for us. To do this kind of work, we simply don't have the resources to do it, so we have to rely on consultants to do that. I can tell you that what we've spent on consultants in this project has been about 15% of what the project cost is, which is, I believe, a little below what typically is factored into a project for engineering services.
But we have the Public Works Department, too, that have civil engineers, and we have a lot of expertise in the government as a whole. And
Sure.
I would wish that we would be able to access this instead of just spending money, I think, needlessly, when we could just simply have people inside the city government do it.
Okay.
How about that?
Councilor Jameson?
Mayor, I need to excuse myself on this vote. I've got an immediate family member who lives adjacent to this park, and now that it's pulled out, I think it's just best that I excuse myself.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Councilor Jameson. Councilor Urbanbach?
I just wanted to comment about how hard the park department worked with the neighborhood on this park design. I've heard nothing but good from the neighbors in terms of the number of public meetings, the input that the neighbors had in terms of, because it is an older park and it's a beautiful area and a lot of older homes surround it. And so I think it's really important for council to understand how actively involved the neighborhood was with this. And that Dave is right. We don't employ design engineers. We don't employ the people that are involved with the level of engineering and design that we're talking about here. We can't afford as a city to fund that kind of a staff. And so we really must contract this out. This is the best deal for the dollar, and we have some excellent people doing this work, and I just appreciate how you've worked those folks in with the neighborhood and made this happen. This is a great project, and I'd encourage you to vote yes.
Thank you, Councilor.
Move to approve, Karski.
Second, Erpenbach.
Councilor Karski's been a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. We've had some very good discussion. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Staggers,
No.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Thank you. That has passed 5-1. Now move on to item 15.
special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for Catering America, Inc., Chef Dominique's Catering, to be operated at Avera Dialysis of Sioux Falls, 1001 East 21st Street, Suite 4000, for ribbon cutting on February 25th, 2014. Item 16, special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for the St. Joseph Cathedral Parish to be operated at the St. Joseph Cathedral Gymnasium, 521 North Duluth Avenue, for a fundraiser on February 28, 2014. Item 17, special one-day liquor license for Sioux Empire Realtors for Kids to be operated at the Avera Prairie Center, 1000 East 23rd Street, for a fundraiser on February 28, 2014. Item 18, special one-day liquor licenses for Hy-Vee, Inc., All Occasions by Hy-Vee, to be operated at the Point is to Serve Church, 506 North Kiwanis Avenue, for weddings on March 29, 2014, and April 26, 2014. Item 19, special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for the Sioux Falls Jazz and Blues Society to be operated at Vern ID Acura, 4030 South Grange Avenue, for a fundraiser on June 19, 2014. Item 20, special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for the Sioux Falls Jazz and Blues Society to be operated at Yankton Trail Park, 3901 South Minnesota Avenue, for the Jazz Fest on July 17 through 19, 2014. Item 21, special one-day wine license for Sioux Empire Safety Village to be operated at Vance Thompson Vision, 3101 West 57th Street, for a fundraiser on February 27, 2014, and to authorize publication of the notice on 2/7/14 to set the hearing date. Item 22, new 2014 packaged liquor license for Sports Zone Inc., the district, to be operated at 4521 West Empire Place. CUP not required. This is in addition to an existing license.
Good evening, Jamie.
Good evening, Jamie Palmer with licensing. The only item that I have to add anything to would be item 22. This would be a license in addition to a retail liquor license that's held at that location. The applicant plans to have special events, probably about one time a month, and would primarily need that license to be able to sell wine by the bottle. So I will answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Yes, Councilor Karski.
Regarding that, Jamie, on 22, do we have a lot of places that have off and on sale? It doesn't seem like I see that very often.
We don't have very many, but we do have four different locations.
Okay.
Yeah. The Convention Center, the Ramada Inn, CJ Callaway's, and Carnival Brazilian Grill are the others that have that type of license.
Thank you.
Move approval, Rolfing.
Second, Erpenbach.
Councilor Rolfing has made a motion to approve these items, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Thank you. That has passed 7-0. Item 23.
A first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property west of North Pennsylvania Avenue and south of West 54th Street North from the RS2 Residential District to the RD Residential District, petition number 2014-05, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Good evening. I'm Mike Cooper with City Planning and Building Services. This is an item submitted by Richard Brake and Thomas Hurd. The property consists of just over 1 acre in size. It's part of the Green Hills addition, and it's in the general area of 54th Street North and west of Career Avenue. It consists of five lots that are currently zoned for either single-family or twin-home development. The applicant is proposing to construct 4-unit townhomes on these properties, and the rezoning would allow that to be done with a conditional use permit that would go to the Planning Commission. The lots to the south of this are already zoned RD, and the applicant is proposing to construct 4 plexes on those this year. The lots to the west are still vacant. Through our public notification process and the Planning Commission hearing, we did not receive any neighborhood comments on this proposal.
Thank you, Michael. Council, it is a first reading. Any questions? Yes, Councilor Karski.
What's RA1, Mike?
That allows multifamily apartments.
Oh, okay, so that's pretty high density to the east of
Yes.
there then. Okay, thank
And
you.
then to the north is part of the University Center campus.
Council, would anybody want to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, March 4th for this item?
Move to approve. Karski.
Second, Rolfing.
Councilor Karski's made that motion, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Thank you. Item 24.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a major amendment, petition number 2014-0113 to Chapter 160.446, Plan Development Districts at 5309 East Ryan Place, amending the Red Rock Park West Plan Development District regulations. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a petition submitted by Verizon Wireless. The property is in the northeast corner of Foss Avenue and Arrowhead Parkway, and the property consists of just under 1 acre. The history of this is that back in 2002, the existing telecommunication tower was constructed when the property was zoned general commercial. And Verizon is now proposing to upgrade the tower with additional antennas and support structures. The property was rezoned in 2006 to a planned development, and this use was not included with that rezoning, so we're adding, with this amendment, telecommunications tower and antenna support structures in order to allow them to make further improvements to better serve this area of the city limits. And on this one, we also did not have any neighborhood comment or public comment.
Thanks, Mike. Yes, Councilor Rolfing.
Mike, when you start talking about supports and things like that, are you planning on putting in a brand-new tower in the middle and then run support wires down?
No, they'll be using the existing tower, but adding more antenna structures onto the existing tower.
Okay.
To upgrade their service for that area.
Not a problem.
So it'll still be a monopole like you see today.
I would move that we move this second reading to Tuesday, March 4th, 2014, at our council meeting then.
Second, Aguilar.
Councilor Rolfing, thank you, and Councilor Aguilar, thank you for seconding that. There has been a motion to set that date of hearing. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Thank you. Item 25.
A resolution of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, to establish a pre-annexation agreement with the Cactus Heights Improvement Association, Inc., and its residents.
Sam Trebelcock, City Planning Office. This resolution that's before you has been negotiated amongst 22 different landowners and the City of Sioux Falls over the past, I think it's been about 4 years. As you might recall, as a council, we've been talking about our Sioux Falls annexation program. And as a part of that annexation program, there's a number of different options in different areas that we've looked at and how we're going to proceed with transition into the city. The Cactus Heights area, and that's the map that you see in front of you here on the projection, that is one of the areas that's within the annexation program. There's really two different areas, neighborhood associations in the Cactus Heights area. This one that we're talking about tonight is the south area, or the Cactus Heights Improvement Association. And there's also one to the north. We've been negotiating and discussing with both organizations over the last 4 years. This resolution is through the efforts of the Neighborhood Association and the city over the last 4 years again. You might ask, well, why a pre-annexation agreement and not why full annexation? And that's because, as we found as we went through the analysis and discussions with the Cactus Heights Improvement Association, and looked at what the city could provide in that area, the Cactus Heights area was not found to be yet ready for full annexation. Instead, we followed through with a pre-annexation agreement. And the reasons for that is, first of all, the city found that the area for services was not going to be able to provide it economically or efficiently at this time. There was a lot of it's a low-density area. As you might recall, this is an old golf course area, and homes were formed around that area. In order to provide city services to that area at this particular time, and to provide city services at the standards that it would be at this time too expensive for the homeowners to provide that infrastructure. Instead, what we want to do is wait until that area can fully develop, as that old golf course would develop. So that was one of the first things that we saw. Also, at the same time, the neighbors were coming to us saying, when are you going to be annexing us? Because we know that that is a possibility. We are surrounded on 3.5 sides. And when are you going to be doing that? So there was that unknown that they had about improving their property, or also selling their property in some cases. What do we tell people when you're going to do this? So we knew that we had to look at that predictability as part of this pre-annexation agreement. Also, a lot of the people in this area, a lot of the homeowners, would like to gain some city services, especially in this case, it's sewer. Sewer is a possibility for them to access in many cases during the last 4 years. We've had people saying, hey, our septic is failing. Can we connect to sewer that's close by if it works out in working through the engineering office? And the answer is no, because you're not in the city. This pre-annexation agreement gives that possibility to start that transition process for sewer. So we think that in putting this together, everybody knows where we're at in the process of transitioning into the city then. What the pre-annexation agreement does then is it says that the city will not forcibly annex this area until 2025. At the same time, we will be able to provide sewer services to them, or any other type of services if we can make it work. It could be water services also, or street services, but the main important point to remember here is that we have to provide the services at the city standard. So with that, there's a number of different sections in the resolution, and the other sections that I haven't mentioned yet. Section 2 talks about that it's important for this area to remain a low-density area in the future, and we recognize that. We also talk about how engineering design standards need to be complied with once annexation or before annexation does occur. And also, we have a couple of different sections in the agreement. You can see there's a petition in Exhibit A where the 22 different homeowners are signed into. So anybody that has not signed into this agreement will not be subject to the agreement. It's only these homeowners that you see, only this land that's as a part of the map and the agreement. So no one's being forced into this agreement by any way. Exhibit B talks about the city services that would be allowed under this agreement, and then also Exhibit C talks about the infrastructure required before annexation is allowed in agreements that's into the future. We wanted to try to lay the groundwork for something in the future so that people understood, the homeowners understood, and the city understood what's going to be important to be looking at for a future annexation too. With that, I would take any of your questions at this time.
Sam, thank you very much. Before I go to the council, is there anybody in the audience who wanted to speak to this item?
Yeah, and I should mention there are 3 residents here tonight, or four homeowners that are here that are that could speak to that.
Well, welcome. Did anybody want to proactively speak? Sir, welcome. Good to have you. If you just introduce yourself to the people of our town, we'd appreciate that.
My name is Dave Husby. I'm not a resident of Sioux Falls because we're not annexed yet.
That's right.
We've spent a great deal of time with Mr. Cooper's staff, particularly Sam, over the last 4 or 5 years, trying to come up with a blueprint so that when the time is right, the neighborhood will come into the city in a orderly, organized fashion. And if you take a look at this petition, there are only 2 of the residents, other than the Peterson family, who own the majority of the undeveloped property, who did not sign on to this. So we're ready, willing, and able to become a part of the city when it's either development-driven or the city finds an opportunity to bring us in. But we anxiously await that day, and some of us who are older will be gone by then. So any questions, we'd be happy to address them too.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. Councilor Staggers?
Yes. On the sewer, do you anticipate, once we approve this pre-agreement, that you'll have a sewer coming in pretty soon or not? Any idea?
The plan would be, as you know, there is a trunk sewer that runs down the old fairway here, and that residents under this agreement, and I probably let either Mike or Sam address this a little more technically than I can, is that we could join the sewer by paying the cost to run this line, and then, of course, any hookup fee that's due to the city at that time. So the answer is yes, sir, we may.
Pretty soon, maybe, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Councilor Karski?
I have a question for regarding the annexation. I don't know if you can answer it, Dave or Sam. But one of the tenets of the agreement is that the city will not annex this land before 2025. Is that just a forced annexation, or what if they did a voluntary?
As part of this resolution, it does give for the possibility that the residents could come in and ask and petition earlier if they found there was development occurring on the old golf course, especially. This is just one scenario, that it was to their benefit to come in at that time. They could do so before 2025. But what we're saying in this agreement is the city would not come in and forcibly annex them before that date, to give them a little more predictability about what to do with their land, or what they could tell potential sellers.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Jameson.
Thank you, Sam. The density level, how high or how much different would it be than it is today? I think you talked about they're hoping for more density, but...
Yeah. I mean, I think if you just kind of look at this map, for instance, it's really difficult to service economically one side of a road with services. If you had another tier of lots on the other side, on both sides where that fairway used to be, you could easily cut in half the cost that you would have for water, and in some cases sewer, and certainly for road improvements. So that was, especially we talked about the water. Sewer is going to be a little bit easier, as Dave was talking about. There is sewer, especially to the south, there that especially those first tier of lots 1 through 14 could access, and then in some cases potentially on the east side too. So sewer is a little easier, water certainly very difficult, and roads are difficult because of the lack of density out there.
Thanks.
Yes, Councilor Rolfing.
Sam, I see the 27 houses that are there. I assume that's what that means. And then,
yeah, it's actually a little less than that because a few of the properties did not. So, like I said, it's 22, but we just didn't renumber the map because of the way the petition came in.
So they've got a lot of now. It's inside the black. Then there's the black dotted line. What about the property to the south there? Is that built up?
The property to the south of where? In the gray?
South of Club View.
Oh, right there. Yeah, that's not in the city. There's a couple lots there scattered there that.
No, I'm talking south of there, where you've got right there.
That's all in the city. Anything in gray is in the city.
Okay, are those developed?
Yes.
Okay, that's all developed down there. I haven't been out there in a while, and I always get lost when I go out there, so I don't go out much. It goes around and around, and I never know where I'm going to come out. And so, just for curiosity, the sewer line runs, I'm assuming, between 1 and 15. That's the fairway, and that's where the sewer line
if
runs?
I could almost have Jason with the hand there, yeah, it's right, coming down that, just
Oh,
keep
down
going
that one.
southeast, it's right there.
Okay, got it.
I believe that's where the sewer is at, in that area.
So they don't have to fill in south of there, but it's all the stuff here. And then how much to the north up there would that, because we're just dealing with this south part right now.
Yeah, and there's some properties to the north up on, there's a Cactus Place up in that area. That's kind of the north, and we've talked to them too.
Yeah, okay.
And they're interested in what goes on after this meeting.
But there
too.
are houses up there?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yep.
Sam, thanks for doing your homework. Thank you. Yes, Councilor. Councilor Rolfing has made a motion to approve.
Yep.
Is there a second? Councilor Karski's made a motion to second that. Councilor Anderson Jr., did you have a question, sir?
Yes, and I'm not sure if it's going to be for you, Sam, or if Mike's going to be able to answer this. You know, the council has been discussing annexation of several different areas around the city and how to do it properly and uniformly. And this is something that is outside of anything I think we've discussed. So how is this going to be something that we're going to use as a model in the future when we start annexing in all these other areas that we've been discussing?
It goes back to that annexation program I talked about to begin with, Councilor Anderson, and really it's looking at what point in time makes sense. We have a lot of different tiers in that annexation program, and this particular one isn't ready yet to be annexed, but there's other subdivisions that are. This one will be ready, and this is very consistent with the annexation program. And it's stated specifically in the annexation program when this area fully develops, especially that old golf course. So there are different tools that we'll use and need to use. And you need to be flexible in that, because there's no doubt that making and bringing in these existing subdivisions is going to be tricky enough as it is to begin with a really efficient way of providing services in that area. Without that, it's kind of cost prohibitive. And so that's what we kind of reflect in the program.
And I understand that, but once again, is this going to be somewhat of a model, what we're going to do with these areas that we haven't been discussing with yet, or are we going to be going into negotiations with other?
Yeah, where it's not a tier 1 annexation, this is available to anybody to use, especially when they want to negotiate some of the terms of future annexations, or they want to access certain services. So we state that in the program also, yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Aguilar.
have we used this tool before?
Yes, there's two different pre-annexation agreements that are outstanding right now. One is out at Pine Lake Hills that we have in place, and then another one is at Brandy Place, down kind of near the Southwestern Avenue and 85th Street area.
Thank you.
Well, very good discussion. We do have a motion. It has been seconded. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Thank you. Item 26.
A resolution advising and giving consent to the appointment of members to certain citizen boards. And if I may, I'll read those
Please.
names.
Thank you.
Rachel Ullman, School Traffic Safety Advisory Committee, PATH, and Michelle Carlson, Sioux Falls Ice and Recreation Center Board.
Move to approve, Karski.
Second it.
Councilor Karski's made a motion to approve these items, seconded by Councilor Aguilar. Thank you. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
That has passed 7-0. Thank you. Council, any additional items?
Move to adjourn, Erpenbach.
Second, Jameson.
Councilor Box made a motion to adjourn this meeting, seconded by Councilor Jameson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Sioux Falls, thank you very much. Make it a great night.